Well, hello there, folks. How's it going today? I hope you're all doing really good. Well, I've been busy past couple of days cutting out some guitar bodies here out of those two great big planks of ash that a friend gave me. And they're one piece. I'm going to sandwich them together this way and pancake them, but that doesn't bother me. I have an Ibanez Destroyer that is built just exactly like that. Actually, it's made out of probably 10 pieces of wood instead of 2. But in any case, I like the design. I like the feel of the body. So I'm going to do this one in ash, which is basically what the Destroyer is made out of. It's made out of a wood from Japan called Sen, S-E-N, which is basically ash. The Carina ones from Gibson, the Explorers, those are actually made of African limba. There is no such wood as Carina wood. It was sold as a Carina finish. So they made up the word Carina for the color of the finish, okay? So in any case, I've been just tinkering away on this. Now I've got some more sanding to do. You can see I haven't quite made it all the way to the lines and some of these contours, and we're going to plane this down too. It's 2 inches thick with both of these. So what I'm doing basically is just trying to get both pieces so they're identical. Try to keep this clamped when I work on it. I think eventually what I'm going to do is put a screw through from one end to the other, somewhere where the neck pocket's going to get cut out, and then maybe where, there's going to be a pickup route. I might put another screw just to hold it together, then I can work without the clamps. But this should be pretty easy. It's not a contoured body. It's just got rounded edges. So should make a great guitar. Now, there's a few ways I could go about this. On these guitars, the three-way switch is up here about where this clamp is. So what they did is they routed a tunnel, if you will, through here and back to the control area where there's 3 knobs, okay? And then what they did is they drilled a hole from the pickup cavities into that tunnel. So what I think I'm going to do is take one of these pieces here where there's 2 and route the cavity into one of them, maybe the bottom one. And that way I'll have that tunnel already done. And if I decide to not put a pick guard on this thing, I can do it. And I'll have the switch here. The little knobs poke up through the wood anyway, and I could just have 2 pickups there. So that's something I'm thinking about. I'm just trying to take small steps with it, and I can always put a pick guard on it after. So I think what I'll do is probably fit the cavities, to a pick guard, and I got to get the scale right too. So, and set the bridge and everything. So it's just gonna take a little thinking and a little measuring and whatnot. But I do have one to go by, so that helps. So we're out of the 2 boards that I brought home. I've made 2 Destroyer bodies, a Telecaster body, and a Mustang offset body. So let's take a look at the other ones real quick. I'll give you one more look at the grain on this. It's really pretty stuff. There was no knots in any of this wood. It's got a little water stain there, but we're going to get rid of that when we plane it down. Alrighty, what we got here is a Telecaster body, obviously. Again, that's really pretty stuff. And, I think I'm going to probably do the same thing with this, where it's so easy to put a cavity in there. You can just route a tunnel through there, and when you put that on, it really is going to hide everything. That way, if I didn't want to put a guard on it, then, I don't have to. You always have the option to put the pick guard on as long as you fit, everything up right, so you can buy a stock pick guard if you want to and put it on. Again, the grain is really cool in this. The back is too. Really pretty. Now I could make a left-handed tele out of this too if I wanted to, which is really nice. I just tried to do, the best I could as far as trying to line up the grain lines sort of, symmetrical to the body itself. Now they kind of run inwards a little bit, and you got, some pretty distinct grain here, which is cool. And on the butt end of it, some of these grain lines actually line up, from the rings of the tree. So it looks kind of nice too. I think it'll look really cool with a nice finish on it. So, I've weighed these. That weighs about 5 pounds. I think it was 4.8 or 4.9. It's really light. And, like I said, once you get the cavities in there, it'll lighten it up even more. I think this one, no, I think this one was around 6 pounds. Maybe it was 6.8. That sounds more legit. I think these are like 3.5 pounds a piece or a little more, each piece of wood. So again, once you get the cavities routed out and the pickups and the neck pocket, you're going to take a little bit of the weight away for sure. So in any case, that's one of the other ones I'm going to be working on. Okay, here's a Fender Mustang, or an offset body. I think that's going to be pretty cool. I think my father has already spoken for this one. We're going to do an offset Telecaster. I've seen those lately. It looks like a really cool setup. You just put a tele bridge on with a slanted pickup and a lipstick, and really neat. I like the looks of them anyway. Again, tried to get the grain nice and straight. I kind of went by this line mostly, but the control plate will be in there somewhere too. I think it'll look really neat. Now, again, I'm not sure if I'm going to put pick guards on these. I think I may just do the same thing as far as the cavity routes. And that way, if I have the option, and I think it would be just an easier way to do it, personally. And it doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be in here anyway. So that's just how it goes. Again, there's the other piece. That's a pretty one too. So I can take my pick on which ones before we call it final. I kind of like this one better, I think. So I'll mark that as the top, and it should be cool. Again, it's not that heavy, pretty light. I'm going to say probably, again, 6 or 7 pounds around there. It's not that bad. So anyway, this one's going to go to my dad when I get it done. And I've got a neck for this one already. I've got a lot of parts to put these together. That's really why I'm doing this. It'll give me a chance to empty out some of the overflow in the cabinet and, build some guitars. I think I've got 6 guitar necks in these boxes on the shelf above the bench. So that'll give me a good reason to bolt them onto these, right? I hate to just see stuff sitting idle when, it could be used to make something really great. So that's what we're going to do. I'm not an expert at this by any means, but, I hope to learn a lot of things along the way. I'm sure I will. And I'm going to try to make templates for these as I go along, too. That way I can recreate. Because, the first one, that's the one that takes the longest. You have to really do a lot of layout and planning. Once you get it done, you can, make a template and you're off and going. Or, make a template before you do it, too. That's probably the way I'm going to do it. Once I get these bodies shaped up, I'll tear a Mustang apart and see what the routes look like. Or I can just make up my own routes, honestly. That's not a big deal either. As long as I put the switch in the same place and whatnot. Maybe try a pick guard against it again. I want to try to make stuff that's, common, so That way you can always go and buy a pick guard for it, or change the color of it, or what have you. And, you should be able to buy something that's common and have it fit. All right, here's another Explorer, Destroyer, whatever. This one is in rougher shape. This one has not been really done anything with a belt sander, just lightly, I think, on one piece. So I need to get these clamped together too, and get that, sanded as much as I can, make them both even. And this one's going to be pretty nice too. Some really nice grain in that. I love the streaks. That's really, really a cool thing. Beautiful wood. So I'm going to try to capture that as well. I don't really want to, I'm not going to paint these. I'm going to probably stain them. I'm not sure about the colors yet, and I'm not too worried about it right now. There's a long ways to go before I get to that. But again, there'll be two Explorers and the Mustang, the tele, and I just actually got done rough cutting a Telecaster body for a friend that's cherry. We'll take a look at that. Okay, so this one's rough too. I've still got a lot of trimming left to do, and then hit it with a sander. Really pretty piece of cherry though. It's a little bit smaller than a tele body, just in the hips here. And what I'm going to do is just make it symmetrical. You really won't know the difference unless you held it up by another one. So one piece. And again, this is a little heavier than the ash. I'm going to say this one's probably, I don't know, 7-8 pounds, maybe more. It's pretty heavy, of course. We need to do a little weight relief. This is 2 inches thick. It's got a knot right in the back, which that's okay. I'm not sure if he wants to do a string through or a top loader, or if he was going to do the pit guard thing. I think you're going to, well, you could route some pickups in there and make a cavity from the back. That's doable too. So there's always that option. But that's how it goes. Whether you're working with one piece, 2 pieces, multiple pieces. Again, like Ibanez was doing this pancake thing. Gibson did it until, well, he started doing it in the early 70s, and I believe they continued, pancaking wood together into like 83, maybe 84. So, it's been done. And, it's not a big deal, really. I don't really believe it affects the sound that much. Some may argue, but they just tended to be heavy. That's what I noticed about those guitars. And I believe they were doing weight relief, but that may have not have started until the mid-'80s, actually. I really can't remember. But a lot of the 70s and early 80s Les Pauls that I've played in my life seem to be pretty heavy, honestly. Noticeable. So there you have it, folks. That's what's going on. I have some repairs to do in between as well, but I'm going to try to get these kind of cleaned up and ready, and just try to start planning out the, attack mode here, what I'm going to do, and gather up some parts and start really laying this stuff out so I know what to expect, and I can start actually making some marks and trying to plan ahead. Well, alrighty, I hope you guys enjoy this, and there'll be more of it to come, trust me. Since the last video that I put up with the 2 planks laying on my table, one of the viewers has already asked me to build him a Telecaster, so I've got an idea. I'm going to probably get busy, but we'll see what happens. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't want to be swamped with it and overwhelmed, but, I just want to keep it fun. I've thought about it for a few years. I'd like to try to build maybe 5 or 6 guitars a year or something like that. just to keep me busy and have something to do. At the end of the day, I'd always have a guitar. It's not necessarily for money or to sell and start a business, but hey, stranger things have happened, I guess. Well, thanks again, folks. Like I said, stay tuned. I've got some pretty cool stuff coming up here, I hope. And I'm going to have to start getting the parts out and seeing what I have, at least write it on a piece of paper instead of just digging through the cabinet every time. So that way I can just kind of look through the list as I look at each body and kind of go from there. Well, all right, we'll see you guys real soon. Be good. Okie doke.